Over the course of a lifetime of noble and distinguished service, no one has done more to combat anti-Semitism than Rabbi Andy Baker.
He is one of a handful of figures who really impacted the global fight against anti-Semitism.
He is probably the best problem solver in our field. If he had become a diplomat, he would be the consummate diplomat because he's able to bring people together, and it has made him a very, very effective servant of the Jewish people over all of these decades.
Andy's success. It's not just about being right, it's about being able to express it in the way that the other side's going to listen.
So many people who say they would like to do something against anti-Semitism leave it on that general level, and Andy makes them accountable.
The one thing every Jewish community in Central and Eastern Europe knew they could do was to count on Andrew Baker for help. No matter where they were, I have seen it time and time again, he was the first number they would call, and he was always there for them.
His capability to work across the entire spectrum of Jewish life, across that complex, diverse mosaic. That's one of his enormous skills, is translating the need of a community and giving it a megaphone. That's what Andy does for Jewish communities around the world.
Andy is all-encompassing. You sometimes would want a short answer from Andy, but you often got a long one. But if you were patient and listened, you were guaranteed to learn something you didn't know before. He knew the details, he knew the issues, and more often than not, he had a very, very good grasp on how to fight them and how to address them.
Determined.
I would say mensch.
He is a master negotiator, speaking softly on the one side, but acting with relentless consequence.
The strategic marathon runner. He always tries to find a solution. Then also when we have setbacks and we do not succeed, he finds a way to push organizations, to push people forward.
Effective. His manner, his depth of knowledge, his natural diplomatic skills, and his personality. All of those things together have made Andy an extremely effective spokesman for the Jewish community and for the AJC and for all of us.
Rabbi Andy Baker has had a tremendous impact in the fight against anti-Semitism because he is the initiator and I would even say the father of so many concrete structural changes in the fight against anti-Semitism.
Time and again, he was able to get countries that really have been somewhat indifferent or oblivious to the mounting problems of anti-Semitism in their own nation to pay attention to it.
He developed with other experts the working definition on anti-Semitism, which has become the gold standard.
Where he really stood out was understanding how multilateral organizations work, how they could impact the fight we were waging. He knew the players, he knew how far we could push them, he knew what might impact them to react.
Rabbi Baker fought tirelessly to put combating anti-Semitism on the agenda of the 57-nation-strong Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, the OSCE.
He has done more than almost anyone to combat anti-Semitism, Holocaust denial, and providing justice to Holocaust survivors.
The Holocaust Memorial at Belzec, this massive memorial and museum, would, I doubt, ever have been built without his dedication.
One of the most important moments was when he was involved in the negotiations regarding the Holocaust survivors.
He was able to help convince Chancellor Kohl of Germany to pay 48,000 claimants over $300 million.
He has made an impact on Holocaust survivors all across the world. They have felt the impact in their lives because of his participation and his role in negotiations with Germany.
With all the projects and programs that Andy Baker has been involved with in so many countries, the end result is that he's made the world a better place for Jews, but not only that, he's made the understanding the importance of these countries' Jewish history and heritage important for everyone.
he has given agency and he has given a voice to Jewish communities that are usually small and that needed encouragement and needed concrete support. This will be his legacy.
Andy, please join me on stage. AJC, it is my honor to present you with AJC's Lifetime Achievement in Jewish Advocacy Award. The inscription reads, "For in recognition of an extraordinary career, safeguarding Jewish communities, advancing Holocaust remembrance and restitution, and strengthening the Jewish world." Thank you.
Melanie, thank you so much, all of you. So appreciative, thank you. 30 years ago, when I was AJC's European director, I was friends with Ignaz Bubis, the head of the Jewish community in Germany. That was a serious job, and Bubis was a serious guy, at least in public. But in private, he had quite a sense of humor. We were together one afternoon at a conference in Bonn. Most of those attending were well on in years, retired diplomats, former politicians. Bubis looked at them and he said to me, "These are people whose future is behind them." Well, now 30 years on, I think I am one of those people. But I can tell you tonight, I have had a really good future, and most of it here at AJC. I was a 29-year-old congregational rabbi in Chicago when the synagogue where I worked did away with my position. And a friend suggested I speak to Gene Dubow, AJC's Chicago Regional Director. He offered me a job, and I thought I would do it for a year or two, and then return to congregational life. But that year or two stretched into 47, and Gene became a lifelong friend and mentor to me. I came to Washington a year later as the local AJC director. But as AJC shifted its focus from domestic concerns to the international arena, I moved with it. Under the leadership of Shula Bahad and David Harris, and later with the guidance of Jason Isaacson, we became the global advocacy organization that you know today. I became European director in the 1990s, when we had the opportunity to play a role in NATO expansion, and through that, to press the new democracies of Eastern Europe and the former Soviet Union to address the legacies of their Holocaust past, to support the revival of Jewish communal life. It was enormously challenging, but deeply fulfilling. Soon, I was on a first-name basis with many of these countries' political leaders, which I must tell you was a good thing because I never could pronounce their last names. Among other things, I had the opportunity to lead our efforts in partnership with the Polish government in the development of the memorial at the Nazi death camp in Belzec, and mounted a successful campaign to press a reluctant German government to extend benefits to Holocaust survivors in the former Soviet Union. We had imagined the expression Europe whole and free would, in those early post-communist years, also mean a united and thriving Jewish community across the continent. But the resurgence of anti-Semitism in Western Europe in the early 2000s, much of it fueled by a deep anti-Israel animus, caused us to shift focus. First, we had to press governments and international organizations to see that they had a problem, and then get them to do something about it. We lobbied the European Union and individual governments and issued our own call to action. I was asked by the director of the European Monitoring Center to help it develop a definition of anti-Semitism, one that would capture both its traditional and new forms. And with the help of AJC colleagues and scholars around the world, we drafted what came to be known as the working definition of anti-Semitism, now the IHRA definition, something that has become an indispensable and widely adopted guidance tool in the fight against anti-Semitism. My work took a detour and brought me to Egypt, trying to leverage AJC's reputation and my work on preserving Jewish heritage in Eastern Europe to do something similar, where there were almost as many shuttered synagogues as there were Jews remaining in the country. Government officials and ministry heads would shout and lecture me on the Middle East conflict, but in the end, they would agree to restore important synagogues and heritage sites, all while preventing word of this from reaching the Egyptian public. One of the most important achievements was the complete restoration of Maimonides' original yeshiva in Cairo. When it was formally dedicated in the presence of Egyptian Jews from around the world, I had the honor of affixing a new mezuzah to the yeshiva's entrance, even as Egyptian police barred reporters from entering. Looking back now on those years, it's hard not to think that so many of those problems, anti-Semitism and Holocaust distortion first among them, are still with us today, even more serious, and even in our own country. To be sure, the problems are daunting, but AJC has never been as well positioned to take them on as it is now, with a remarkably talented and committed professional staff, and with a leader in Ted who combines unequaled political and diplomatic skills and still manages to tell us 10 things every week. This year, we celebrate AJC's 120th anniversary, and I have been here for a fair chunk of those years. So in closing, I want to thank my children, Johanna, Gabi, Jesse, and Emma, for their love and for sharing me with you all this time. And to Adina, whose love and support have sustained me, not only for the future that is past, but for the future yet to come. Thank you.